This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, Dunedin police say drivers in yesterday's crash on the southern motorway were lucky to escape serious injury. All is not well and good in the Dunedin suburb of Roslyn as a cafe fights for its name. And ID Dunedin Fashion Week is turning 20 this March, and to celebrate, the committee has decided to shake it up. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Sophie Morris. Dunedin police say drivers in yesterday's crash on the southern motorway were lucky to escape serious injury. The incident occurred just after 3 p.m. when an out-of-control truck shot across the motorway, colliding with 2 cars in the process.
The scene of a dramatic near-miss on Dunedin's southern motorway. Police say a truck was carrying gravel down Saddle Hill Road when its driver appeared to lose control. The vehicle careened through a metal railing and shot across the motorway, crossing both southbound lanes. It then crashed through the central wire barrier and crossed both northbound lanes before crashing through another metal railing and ending up on its roof down an embankment.
Initially, it appears that a large vehicle carrying some gravel has lost control and come through the intersection down Saddle Hill Road and crossed both lanes of the motorway, coming to a rest down the bank in the northbound lane on the motorway.
He says it was a lucky escape for the drivers involved.
Oh, extremely lucky. Yeah, extremely lucky that it's not more serious. Lots of damage, but in terms of vehicle damage and that, yeah, we're very, very lucky.
2 cars travelling along the motorway were struck by the runaway vehicle. St John says 2 people were taken to Dunedin Hospital with minor injuries.
Yeah, extremely busy time on the motorway, yeah, and very lucky that there was minimal other vehicles involved.
He says the incident's a reminder for motorists to remain vigilant while driving.
It's just a timely reminder to people to be aware of the traffic and driving to the conditions. With being very sunny and hot, it's a timely reminder to just be aware of the road conditions and our vehicles.
The northbound lanes of the motorway were temporarily closed while a large crane was used to remove the truck. In Dunedin, the South Today.
A resident says the 3-year-old boy found dead in a Gore wastewater treatment pond on Tuesday night had been seen walking along a nearby street hours earlier. A death notice has named the boy as Lachlan Paul Graham Jones. Residents said no one thought anything of seeing a youngster on the road as children were always on Salford Street. Meanwhile, police have named the 2 fishermen who went missing off the rocks at Slope Point on Sunday afternoon. They are 23-year-old Sean Orchard and 28-year-old Hendrix Carmo. Both men are from Southland. All is not well and good in the Dunedin suburb of Roslyn. The Well and Good Cafe has been forced to change its name after a threat of legal action from the United States.
Amy and Andrew Howe toasting the new name of their Roslyn Cafe. The couple opened the premises in May last year, calling it Well Plus Good. But when they applied for a trademark, they received a legal letter on behalf of a North American company whose website has the same name, asking them to change theirs and avoid confusion.
Yeah, we were quite shocked and pretty disappointed at that. Caused a bit of anxiety.
While they'd spent money on signage and branding, they decided the easiest option was to rename their cafe.
I think things started accumulating cost-wise pretty quickly when legal advice comes into account, and in the end we decided, look, we're still early enough to perhaps change our name.
Amy Howe says it was a bit of a David and Goliath scenario.
I think that the little people can't take on big people in the corporate world.
The cafe's now called Project Wellness, though finding a name that wasn't already in use was no easy task.
But it was an interesting exercise because almost every name you can think of was taken.
The couple have also received $2,000 from the North American company after they asked for a contribution to costs, although that didn't quite cover what they'd lost. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Invercargill police have arrested a man and a woman after a baby was hospitalised with serious injuries. The 5-week-old baby was hospitalised in October last year and flown to Auckland Starship Hospital in a serious condition. Invercargill police launched an investigation as the baby's injuries were thought to be non-accidental. A 32-year-old man and a 35-year-old woman appeared briefly in the Invercargill District Court today. They were granted interim name suppression. ID Dunedin Fashion Week is turning 20 this March, and to celebrate the birthday, the committee has decided to shake it up. And another change of venue, the main event is set to be held at the Regent Theatre, but that's not all which is new this year.
ID Dunedin's longest runway walk in the Southern Hemisphere is gone, as is last year's venue at the Dunedin Town Hall. And along with those changes, ID Committee Chair Margot Barton says the two main events are being combined.
So the run of the show is great. Often people can't decide between going to see the established designers and the emerging, and we have decided to combine those two shows together. So the first half of the show will be the New Zealand established designers, and we haven't released those names yet, but I can promise it's going to be a very exciting show. And the second half of the show will be the emerging designers from all around the world.
The Regent Theatre is set to host ID 20. Barton says they plan to use the venue to its full extent, including places usually reserved for technical personnel behind closed doors.
And there's a secret tunnel that goes under the downstairs stalls, diagonally across, so the models will come from the stage, through the audience downstairs, upstairs, and then down to the tunnel and back to get into the next outfit. So no matter where you sit on the Regent, you'll get a brilliant view of these incredible fashions.
Music and fashion have always had a strong relationship, and in previous years, even noisy Dunedin sound pioneers Shane Carter, Robbie Yates and Michael Morley have provided a raucous soundtrack to the event. But this year, Barton says the music is set to take a more classical than classic turn.
Yes, so for the Emerging Designer Show, we've got the Dunedin Youth Orchestra playing contemporary New Zealand music, as well as a DJ, and it's going to be really fantastic, exciting, mind-blowing music to support these brilliant clothes.
ID Dunedin Fashion Week runs from March the 11th to the 17th with a host of clothing-related events for the couture conscious and the fashion curious. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. We see the latest Lime scooter antics in Dunedin, and University of Otago Professor Robert Patman shares with us the top 3 threats facing New Zealand this year in our latest episode of Global Insight.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
Need to rent an EFTPOS? Whether it's just a week or the whole season, maybe a pop-up store, a concert or event, Anything's POS have equipment available to suit your needs for retail and hospitality with local support. To rent, lease or buy, contact Anything's POS.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
At the Hard to Find Bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects from the rare to the recent, and where viable, we will come to you. We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
just like it. It's something that you can see the fruits of your own labour. You put it right now, you don't have as much to do at Christmas. You come see me, Derek, in the garden department, and then we get it done right.
Step into Shop on Carroll and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Tune in to Eastern Light Filmworks every week.
Welcome back. The steady stream of strange antics on Dunedin's Lime scooters has continued, with a pair filmed riding on a beard attached to two scooters last night. The antics were filmed by Adam Peters, who came across the pair while he was skating home from work. It comes after a man was filmed last month sitting on a lazy boy attached to a Lime scooter and riding it the wrong way down a cycle lane. Adam Peters says it looks like the pair riding on the beard were having a great time and didn't appear to be in danger. University of Otago Professor Robert Patman says global inequality and the rise of authoritarian states pose the greatest threats in 2019. In our latest episode of Global Insight, ODT journalist Bruce Munro asked Professor Patman about the top 3 threats facing New Zealand this year.
Welcome, Robert.
Good morning, Bruce.
What should we be concerned about?
I think in terms of the pecking order, I'd like to start with number 3 first.
Sounds good.
The least threatening, but still nevertheless a significant one, is the ability of New Zealand to effectively respond to the changing physical nature of our environment, i.e. planet. And that's a bit of a worry. We're seeing, for example, extreme weather. We're seeing declining levels of fresh water in New Zealand, which is a worry. And we're seeing, of course, rising sea levels in the region, the Asia-Pacific region, which New Zealand is a part. So I think we are being affected by these global trends. And the big worry is whether we're responding quickly enough to take adaptive measures to combat some of these trends.
Some might say, so what if we're dragging our feet on this? We get plenty of rain, we've got undeveloped spaces, we're not a low-lying atoll, so why should we worry?
Well, your question's a good one, because we are probably better placed than many other countries. But we also, at the stakes of our country, we're an agricultural exporter. We're critically dependent on a certain degree of stability in terms of the climate. And I think the other thing is that we have is a bit of what I call a self-image problem. That is to say, we have traditionally, and with some justification, seen ourselves as clean and green, which means that we're probably slower than other countries to recognise these signs of decline in our environmental picture.
What's number 2 on your list of threats facing New Zealand?
Number 2 is how New Zealand can navigate its relationship with the world's 2 most powerful countries, the 2 superpowers, namely the United States and China. We have good relations with both of them, but I suspect that both of them want to align New Zealand more closely to their view of the world. New Zealand is in the position where it does not share the worldview of the Trump administration or the Xi Jinping administration in China.
So you think that we can manage to hold hands with both the United States and China?
Yes.
Can we do that without becoming a doormat? Or is a doormat a good option for us? No,
a doormat's not a good option. And in fact, we would diminish our leverage if we tried to appease one or the other. That's my argument. We maximise our attractiveness and our leverage if we're seen to be friendly, but not on any one side. In a sense, as relations between China and the United States become ever strained, we might act as something of a bridge builder. I don't want to exaggerate New Zealand's diplomatic clout in this situation, but I think it would probably be the worst of all worlds to side with one of the two when relations between them are tense.
What do you see as the greatest threat then that we'll face this year?
The greatest threat, I think, is the crumbling or the steady erosion of the international rules-based order known as the liberal international order. And I think, in a sense, we've just identified two crucial problems facing New Zealand, problems concerning the environment and also great power relations. But unless we have an international rules-based system, we cannot effectively deal with either of those problems. So New Zealand, since 1945, has been consistent in its support for an international rules-based order. Rules are there to defend the rights and the values of the weak, not the strong. And the extension of the rule of law is very important for New Zealand because it enables, for example, in the trade area, us to trade with more than 150 countries internationally. So this is very important. We are seeing threats to the rules-based order. We're seeing threats externally from authoritarian countries like Russia with its activities in the Ukraine, from China with its activities in the South China Sea. We're seeing threats to the international rules-based order internally from the likes of Brexit in Britain and from the rise of the Trump administration, the election of Donald Trump. And Mr. Trump has posed all sorts of questions about institutions which are critical to New Zealand, such as the WTO, the World Trade Organization. So what can New Zealand do in this situation? I think it must get together, it must reach out to like-minded liberal democracies to try to make the international economy work better for more people.
What do you see as the risk if we don't address this?
Well, I think one of the risks is that we may see a continued rise of demagoguery, authoritarian regimes as people lose faith in democracy, and also what I call populist solutions where politicians make no attempt to deal with the facts. And we've seen this in the United Kingdom, we've seen this in the United States where politicians basically have been elected on promises which are very difficult to deliver in practice. Another area where New Zealand needs to move from being a passive multilateral player to an active one is in the area of security. At the moment, we have a situation where New Zealand, a number of other countries, wants to reform the Security Council. It's been, of course, blocked by those 5 members of the Security Council which have the veto. They don't want to give up that privilege. It's up to the majority to put pressure on the UN Security Council for the veto to be constrained so that the UN Security Council can become more relevant and less dysfunctional in a world where there's all too many tragedies such as Syria.
Thanks, Robert. It sounds like it's an important and challenging year that we've got coming up.
I think so.
And thank you for watching. Catch us next time on Global Insight. Jess Revido.
After the break on the South Today, we get a sneak peek of a musical performance and artwork to be revealed in Luggett, and we check out tomorrow's weather.
Most of us have spots on our skin. That's quite normal. Finding skin cancer as early as possible is key to successful treatment. Book in for a free check of 1 to 2 moles or a comprehensive full body check with the Mole Doctor in Waverley.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
Every Kiwi deserves a reliable garage door. Rely on Garrador to protect your important stuff. Just like Darren. His Garrador keeps his favourite ride in mint condition. We have a huge range at affordable prices. Visit our website for a free consultation. We stand behind every door.
It's always really satisfying when a customer comes back after doing a purchase of outdoor furniture and knowing that we've got it done right.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
Step into Shop on Carroll and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
Need to rent an FPOS? Whether it's just a week or the whole season, maybe a pop-up store, a concert or event, Anything's POS have equipment available to suit your needs for retail and hospitality with local support. To rent, lease or buy, contact Anything's POS.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Welcome back. A concert in Luggett this Saturday is set to bring art and rock together. The performance will see the unveiling of a painting by local artist Stephen Martin Welch to the accompaniment of music.
Art will mix with music when artist Stephen Martin Welch reveals his painting on stage at a concert by Wanaka rock band Figure 8. The painting will be revealed for the first time on stage at the gig.
It's just bringing two art forms together. It's bringing three art forms, I think. It's songwriting and the actual performance of the song and a painting that goes with it. So it's just another way of maybe like how, say, a musician or a band will do a music video and then there's something that goes with it. So there's a visual art form as well that goes with the band. This is just another way of doing that, but this is just a 2D image. And the idea is that the 2 days leading up to G-Man and Figure 8 performing is I'll be finishing off the painting. Now G hasn't seen the painting, he'll get to see it on the night.
Figure 8 lead singer Glenn G-Man Height said art had strong links with music.
Art's more important now than ever for music because we used to have vinyl and you'd have a big thing and you could fold it out and it was really cool because you could see this massive art thing. Now it's condensed into a little tile, pretty much, unless you choose to try and do a physical release. So I think the art's actually more important now to, you know, represent music in a visual sense.
Simon Henderson for the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. Dunedin police say drivers in yesterday's crash on the Southern Motorway were lucky to escape serious injury as an out-of-control truck crossed the highway. All is not well and good in the Dunedin suburb of Roslyn as a cafe fights for its name following a legal challenge from an American company. And ID Dunedin Fashion Week is turning 20 this March, and to celebrate the committee has decided to shake it up, changing venues and the way events are structured. And time now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Hayden.
Hello, Sophie. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm very good.
and an interesting ODT tomorrow, heavily focused on the weather, funnily enough, and various different angles. One of which is sea level rise, and of course that's closely linked to global warming, climate change, a hugely pressing issue for New Zealand and Otago to look at, and a very big number for you, $400 million. That's the quote of what it's going to cost various Otago councils from sea level rising. So very, very important story, obviously, for Otago, specifically for places like South Dunedin. Also weather related, it's been hot, it's been warm, perhaps not quite as hot in Dunedin as we would have hoped as the rest of the country, but a little bit of a look around the whole province, really, Otago and the south, of what's been happening and who's hit the hottest. We'll have a list of all the hottest temperatures today. The Otago Regional Council, still this issue of where they're going to have their headquarters rumbling on. There'll be a bit of an update on that. Fashion, Sophie, as you can imagine, I'm really into the fashion world, keenly interested in the ID show, which I actually called the ID show for years, which shows you how much I knew about it. Some interesting stuff around how the models are going to interact with the audience at the show. I'll definitely be interested in every word of that.
Yes.
And I suppose we better finish up. Well, there'll be a story on the latest from the cricket, from the Black Caps. Been a fantastic day so far against the Indians. So in the middle of our usual Friday sport tabloid, which will have plenty of stuff, an update on how the Black Caps have been getting on. So fingers crossed they cruise from here and beat the Indians easily.
Yes, well, thank you, Hayden. All of that and more in tomorrow's ODT. And time now for a look at tomorrow's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by MoleMap.
Beginning with tonight's Southern View, a view from Morning Magpie at lunchtime as life passes by. Looking at the situation, a cold front brings brief rain and gusty winds tomorrow morning, but sunny periods increase during the afternoon with winds easing. A fine weekend ahead with sunshine and milder temperatures. Starting off with the southern towns, Balclutha, Catlins, Lumsden and Gore can expect decreasing southwesterlies, showers clearing and highs of 15 degrees. Travelling westwards to the Central Lakes, where temperatures are also dropping with a southwesterly change, brief showers. Alexandra and Queenstown are aiming for 18, Wanaka 19, and Te Anau can expect decreasing southwesterlies, showers clearing and 15 degrees. To the northern towns, Timaru is in for strong southwesterlies, some rain and a high of 23. Oamaru is aiming for 22 with strong southwesterlies and also expect some rain. Marama and Twizel should have southwesterly change, brief showers and 19 degrees. In Dunedin tonight, dry with warm northerlies and an overnight low of 20. A period of rain tomorrow morning with strong cool southwesterlies, but becoming fine and sunny during the afternoon and winds easing. 22 is the high and the low is 10. Sunny periods and some cloud on Saturday, cool with southwesterlies slowly dying out, a high of 16 and a low of 11. Invercargill will see cloudy skies tonight with an overnight low of 15. Rain easing to showers tonight with strong cool southwesterlies developing, then showers clear with sunny periods increasing during the day as strong cool southwest winds ease, aiming for a high of 15 and a low of 10. Fine and sunny with high cloud increasing on Saturday and moderate westerly winds, a high of 18 and a low of 10. That's all for our news this Thursday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Have a great evening. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.